Today we're being rejoined by Lexi Hamilton from the Swans AFLW side. Lexi, welcome back.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, Coop. No, it's very good. Very
No
excited.
worries. Now this season, Lexi, obviously a different season for the side and yourself, obviously playing more of a ruck role this year, and obviously the side not playing finals compared to last year. How would you overall, Lexi, assess your season this year and the club's season overall?
I think it was a bit of a different season for sure. Like we obviously had a few
Mm,
injuries and tried a lot of different things and had a lot of girls go in different positions. So it was very, for me personally, I was grateful for the opportunity to play a bit more ruck. Whilst I'd been sort
mm,
of throughout the preseason working on different other positions,
mm.
stuff happens. And so I really felt like I sort of absorbed that ruck role quite well, especially as like an undersized ruck. Tried to use
Yeah.
some of my other stuff, such as aggression and stuff, to the best of my ability. But overall, as a
Mm.
team, I think we had a sorry, my phone keeps.
Yeah, that's all right.
um, I think we had a bit of an interesting season. Like we just let a couple of the close games
Yeah.
slip away a bit, which was a bit frustrating. And there's not much you can do besides go back to the drawing board and work up some different algorithms to get the game over and done with in those moments. But we lost. I think it was three in a row with under a goal. So you win
Yeah.
those games and you're suddenly in the top eight. So it's not necessarily that we had a bad season. It's just that we
Mm.
sort of couldn't execute just completely,
Yeah.
essentially. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I remember you speak of some of those close games, and two that come to mind are the Bombers and the Bulldogs, both at Whitten Oval, coincidentally. As you said, yeah, a few little results or a kick here and there goes your way. You're on the other side of the ladder.
Yeah, 100%. Like you either nail a set shot or we don't give away a free in front of goal. And or just little things like that. Like every moment sort of counts. And I think in
Mm,
the season previously, we sort of were on top of those moments. And we were on the receiving end of the wins and stuff on in those little moments. Like we would be getting the free kick, or we would make that set shot in front of goal, or we would be making that tackle. And it just seemed like this season we sort of missed those little moments, which in hindsight created big moments
mm,
that sort of created a loss. So it's not. I don't think we necessarily had a bad sort of season or anything. Like obviously we didn't make the
mm,
eight, but we just let a few games slip away. Like we I know, so I don't necessarily think that we had a bad season or anything. It was just that we just let a few little ones slip away. Yeah.
so, what would you say is some highlights for yourself throughout the season, whether it's for yourself individually or as a team, obviously, because there's still definitely some good moments throughout the season.
Yeah, for sure. I think like for me personally, I think sort of I don't know what game it was, maybe against North Melbourne.
Yes, that one,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I thought that, coming up against my old team and stuff, Emma King and Kim Reddy are awesome rucks, but I think the way that I
Mm,
was able to sort of use my body against them, like even though as I guess a ruck, I sort of stopped focusing on stats so much in sort of that area. So I started sort of
mm,
focusing on what I could do for the team. And I think that game was sort of a game where I really felt like in my skin. I've like sort of fully absorbed being an undersized ruck and being able to use my body a bit
mm,
better.
mm,
Um, so I think that was kind of a game that I really like a moment that I feel like was one of my sort of best games for the season. And then
mm,
I guess for I think the West Coast game
yeah.
in the final round probably would have been as a team. I think something we really needed. Like we'd obviously
Mm,
been down in the dumps for a couple of weeks now. So to sort of finish the season on such a high and have such a good game of like we played a brand that we wanted to play in those games that we sort of lost. We I guess we spoke a little bit about going away from the game plan and not
mm,
sticking to what we thought was our way of playing footy. And I think that's what sort of frustrated us most in those close games is if we actually,
mm,
when we did play the brand of footy we wanted to play, we actually played very well and we moved the ball very well. But when we went away from that and started, kicking along down the line and playing a bit of a, like a different branding contest and stuff, that's when we
mm.
found that we were losing the ball a lot more. So I think finishing off that game, with West Coast, it was really good to sort of see us using our ball movement and applying our sort of defensive mechanisms.
Mm. Sure. I know you mentioned before about yourself with the North game. It's not all about the stats, but 2 goals, 21 hitouts, about 11 disposals, and 5 tackles. It must be pretty happy though, because like you said, Kim Rennie and Emma King are two decent ruckmen. I feel like they're not the names that people always talk about, but they're the two rucks that were a part of a winning premiership successful side.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think, like whilst the stats are great, and it's really good to get some recognition, I think my teammates gave me even more recognition, which was really good. Like they saw sort of how much I had researched into both the opposing rucks and how much work had gone into that game. And just like sort of my effort out on the field to make sure that we were sort of either winning or, halving contests and stuff like that. But yeah, Kimmy and Rennie are two very good versatile rucks. And I think that's probably also why their midfield, like as in North, is so strong and
Yeah.
dominant. Like, you've obviously got a lot of ground talent
Yeah.
with Jamin and Mia King and the girls and Ash Riddell, the girls in the midfield. But I think the way that those two, Kim Rennie and Emma King, work with their midfield is something that I guess like I would like to aspire to have that sort of relationship and be able to like just bounce off each other so much. So I think it's just such an important role both ways. Yeah.
Sure. And then the West Coast game for the team overall. I mean, West Coast were a side on the ladder. They were really in a very similar position to the Swans, where, you're just outside the 8, and they'd had some pretty impressive wins this year, which just makes that win more and more important because of the way you beat them, and they were on the similar spot on the ladder.
Yeah, for sure. I think I think especially like that mid sort of season area when we were versing Dogs and Bombers and stuff, we didn't go into games complacent and stuff, but I think we expected more of ourselves, and
Yeah.
we just thought that despite missing a few players and being away from home for a week, we're obviously in the condensed fixture, that we were just going to be
Yes.
able to naturally play the footy that we wanted to play. And then sort of when that didn't really turn around, we were like, oh, like what now? But I think being at home for that last round, and I guess just relying, like we had no expectations, just relying on our footy to sort of we all just sort of came together and felt like we were on the same page. And I wish we, had another couple of rounds post that game, because it really felt like, I
Yeah.
feel like in the game with AFLW as well, with 10 games in the season, it's all about momentum. And whilst you're on a high, which we were after that Eagles game, it felt like if we had versed a few more teams again, we really could have knocked them off. So it was such a confidence boost coming out of that game. But then, obviously the season's done. So it kind of goes and starts and goes really quickly, which is the reality of it. So hopefully the next couple of years will change. But yeah, like if you find yourself in sort of a drought in the sort of mid-season, early season, which we sort of unfortunately found ourselves in with a couple of losses in a row, it's really, really hard to come out of.
Sure. The condensed fixture, Lexi. How did you physically keep up with all that? And obviously, I'm sure it's going away now next season anyway. But was it a tough thing to try and manage as well?
Yeah, I think we were in a very different situation as well, because we obviously had the men's grand final. So
Yeah.
our condensed fixture was just like a wave of everything. You've got potentially 30 girls living in a hotel together. We had the men's grand final. Like the mental strain, I guess, was probably bigger than the physical strain, like staying fresh. And we didn't train throughout the whole week. So anything that you wanted to work on from the previous game, you sort of didn't really have an opportunity, because you had a game in 4 days. So the ability to go and like practice simulation. So when obviously you lose by 3 points, you're gonna want to focus on, if we're in that position again, what would we do differently? How would we retain possession of the ball and stuff like that? But you can't even practice that. And then unfortunately the next week we go and lose by 4 points or something like that again. So yeah, no, it was like very, I think for me mainly, and I know a lot of other girls, it was very mentally draining, like just being sort of not so much away from home, but like we just spent every single second sort of in each other's pockets. And a lot of us are like, a lot of the girls are from Melbourne, but it's still pretty full on in terms of like, you don't want to sort of leave the hotel and just be spending a whole day out socializing and like seeing friends and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the games were weren't too bad. Like we had a pretty good draw during the condensed fixture as well in terms of physicality. So I think we didn't end up with too many sore bodies or anything like that. And I think our group did pretty well in terms of load management and stress injuries and stuff like that. And we were able to manage them throughout that period, especially for the younger girls. It's, I can imagine be like quite scary going from in your first AFLW season, and then all of a sudden round 5 comes around and you're playing 3 games within 10 days. So I think for the girls who had played before, it was a bit better because they knew that their body was like somewhat going to tolerate the load. But for new girls and draftees and girls who hadn't played a lot of games, it's quite a big toll on the body. But yeah, I think it's, you know, it's trial and error. And the AFL obviously got feedback that it wasn't exactly as beneficial as maybe they thought it would be, trying to get a lot of games in. And then obviously the viewing on a Wednesday night is obviously going to be not as much as it would be on a Saturday afternoon. So yeah, I'm excited to go away for the condensed fixture. Just like as a total, like it was a good experience, but yeah, I think it'll be nice to go back to a normal fixture.
For sure, and then add some more games on next, or an extra game on next year, and then hopefully more in the future.
Yeah, I'm excited for the extra games. I think, you know, when we're talking CBA and the way we want to move the game, a lot of people automatically think that, you know, the AFL girls want more money and they want more. But I think what's kind of missed is that we just, you know, we're in this because we love playing footy. So I think a lot of the girls would absolutely vouch for just more games and sort of a longer length of season. Because, you know, you get to those points like for us with the Eagles game where we feel like we're on top of the world, we can, you know, absolutely have a crack at whoever comes next through in terms of opposition, and sort of the season's over. So it's yeah, once you get to those points where you're feeling really good and then all of a sudden it just turns around and the season's kind of done so quickly, and then you know, you touch a footy, you know, in the off season, but you don't really get another game of football for another 4 or 5 months, which is quite unheard of. It's actually probably longer. It's way longer. Yeah, it would be way too long, you know, unless you enter into a VFL season, which we don't typically get as much exposure here in Sydney. So yeah, I think extending the games would be, you know, it's one of those things that I feel like the AFL might just have to take a jump with. Obviously, they've got things to work through as well, and injuries and finance and all these other things are amongst in the conversation. But yeah, I think the game progression will really allow more exposure for girls to get much more acclimatized, I guess, to the professionalism of the sport.
That's right. And then obviously this year you had 5 new players in the trade, but just wrapped up yesterday. Darcy Maloney, Imogen Brown, Jazz Grierson, Ashman Loon, and Lulu Puller. Have you had any experience or any past interactions with those girls? And looking to add some more on top of the returns of 2 very important players, Chloe Malloy and Ali Morfin.
Yeah, no, the trade and sign period was very exciting, I think, for us this year. We weren't very active, obviously, in last year's. Well, we got a couple, but we weren't too active in terms of movement. We retained most of our list, which is really exciting. And, you know, although it's really sad to see some of our girls go as well, I'm excited for the opportunities that they're going to get in their new teams. And you know, it's you know, it's sad, but football's a sort of a business at the end of the day, and you've got to do what you've got to do. But yeah, no, I'm so excited for the new girls to come. I think they sort of just add so much depth to what we're trying to build here, and they speaking to them already, like they just are such kind people. I haven't had too much to do. Obviously Jazz, she's from across the bridge, Grierson. So you know, we've met a few times, but nothing too drastic. I grew up sort of with Elise Parker, and they're quite close, so I feel like Jazz and I will probably get along quite well. And then Lulu, I think I did play with when I was on the list at Suns when I was like 19, when I wasn't playing. You would go back and play for Bond, and I have a feeling that we played at Bond together, maybe. But I think I've definitely played with her. Not 100% sure. But who else? That's sort of all interaction I've had with them. But I'm very excited for them to move here. I've been chatting to them a fair bit on text and stuff, and one of my old good mates, Jackie Parry, she's at Geelong,
Correct.
and she sort of gave me a bit of a rev up about Darcy,
Mm.
and she's like, Darcy's gonna love it here, like take care of her and stuff. So I'm so excited for the new girls to come. Yeah, for sure.
Sure, and Imogen Brown was obviously one player that was a part of the Swans
Oh,
Academy, so
that's
she's
so
no
funny.
stranger too to the Swans.
No, yes, Emmy, yes. Oh my gosh, totally forgot.
Yeah.
I feel like I just skip over her because I feel like she's not really left too much. I'm so excited she's coming
Yeah.
home. When she got picked up by Richmond, we were all sort of very devastated. We thought we were going to sort of have her around a little bit longer. I think
Mm.
you know not I don't know whether we should have picked her up last year or
Mm.
it's one of those things. It's obviously wasn't the timing wasn't right. But I'm so excited she's come home. Like I think she just suits the Sydney lifestyle so well. And obviously losing Monty Barrelson, I think in his
Yeah.
speed and attack on the footy is just going to be absolutely enormous for us. So I'm so excited about her to come home. She has a bubbly personality as well. So I just think she brings
Mm.
so much energy and a lot of love to the group, which is exciting.
For sure, definitely a character that I've met before a few times, and yeah, definitely everything you said about her is spot on. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if I asked you this last time. Now, obviously, a lot of players throughout the AFLW competition, in particular, they play alongside or they play against their sister. What's it like for you playing alongside Cynthia every week?
No, it's actually pretty good. Like I think because we grew up playing together,
Mm.
it's not as much of a difference as I guess it would be if we were just to suddenly pop out. I think if there was a bigger age gap, I think it would be a bit different because we wouldn't have been able to be exposed to playing with each other. But because we sort of grew up playing with each other, I think it just feels so normal. And
Mm.
um, you know, yes, we're sisters, but I think once we get out onto the footy field and once we get to training, we're sort of just like I guess best friends, which is good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I sort of do forget sometimes that she's my sister and that
Mm.
um, we live together. We've just moved into a new place in Sydney with a few of the other girls as well. But no,
Yeah.
it's really good. She's like sort of someone I can really bounce off, and you sort of know that there's so much honesty there as well with sort of feedback and skill execution and just general like I guess aura about the group as well. So you just sort of know there's a lot of loyalty and honesty behind that, which takes a lot of years to sort of build up with another
Yeah.
teammate, especially if you're in sort of high pressure situations. It can take even longer because, um, you just, especially with like selection, and you just don't know really, um, the lengths that someone would go for you. And I think with
Yeah.
Cynthia, it's just, we're very much do or die, sort of like live by the sword. We're very much I have her back 110%, and I know she has my back 110%. So it's really nice knowing that
Mm.
someone's sort of on your side no matter what.
For sure, that's very good. And individual players sit there. Who was Lexi? So there I go again. I've known to call people other names that I know they're not, and I just do it anyway. So there we go.
That's
There's the
right.
first time I've done that. Right.
Yeah.
So of some players, Lexi, that have had some impressive seasons individually at the Swans this year, who would you say fits that category of having an impressive season?
Um, I think Sarah Grundon, one of
Yep.
the well, you can't even really call them draftees anymore now because they've got a season under their belt. But
Mm.
yeah, Sarah's had I think one of um, for a draftee to sort of come in and play how she did. I think her ball use and her ability to read the ball and impact is probably far beyond her years as someone so
Mm.
young. You'd sort of expect that from someone a lot more experienced and a lot older. So I think her ability to sort of come in the team and sort of have a pivotal role in our forward line and even run up the wing a little bit,
Mm.
without a doubt, like you sort of knew what you were going to get from her. There's no surprises or anything. And I think just her pressure
Mm.
and her ability to sort of her decision making ability is super impressive as well. So she's one I think that had a massive breakout season. Holly Cooper, another one, like young
Yep.
Sydney Swans Academy product. She was she was just I don't even know, like she's just like a little pocket rocket. Like she's got so
Mhm.
much speed and so much desire to get the footy. So she's another one. And I think obviously you can't really go past Soph Hurley, like our best and fairest as well. Like I think she
Mm.
this season was just able to balance sort of her life so much better. And she's sort of one of the people I lean on a lot as like a predominant ruck this year. I lean on her a lot for support around sort of midfield structures, and
Mm,
I guess just even confidence. She was huge for me. So she's someone that I think just really took her football to the next level with her run and
mm.
ability to sort of break tackles, and then her pressure around the ball as well was just enormous.
Sure, I mean, winning the club best and fairest solidifies all that, and a really, really good year overall. And I feel like could have been around that mark for the All Australian team because she had a really good year, not just because she won the BNF, but like you said, in those games where they're close, she was standing up, or one of the ones that was consistently standing up. Now, there's some players, some teammate questions, Lexi, may have asked last time, some may not have, and the answers may change too. Who would be one, because there's always some, and they don't like admitting it individually, those players would, who Googles themselves and checks out their own highlights and has to watch it non-stop or even just watch it a couple of times?
um, I think it would be like Ali Morphett. Morph.
Yes.
I think that she like, granted she as well, it's so hard when you come with so many injuries and stuff. You sort of reminisce on the
Mm,
good old days, I guess. So I think Morph would definitely, I think she would love me saying this as well. She would definitely
mm,
watch her highlights and stuff. So yeah,
mm.
she's fine. I don't know if
But,
there's anyone else that would really
mm,
I don't know. Maybe Chloe.
very true.
Chloe might
Again,
as well. Like,
yeah,
yeah, I
valid.
think, yeah, valid, for sure, valid. Yeah.
It's,
Watching her goals on
yes.
repeat.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. Who has
Maybe
got
just
the
the two,
biggest?
yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Who has the
Yeah.
biggest kick on the team?
Very sad, but Bella Smith did. Bella
Oh,
Bella
yeah.
had the biggest kick for sure. Massive left boot. I don't really know who it would be now. Um,
Not Cynthia or Chloe?
oh, maybe Cynthia or Chloe. Yeah, Cynthia or Chloe for sure. Like they've got massive boots. Um, Maybe we'll do a competition or something at
Mm,
training, but it would have to be one
yeah,
of the two of them. They can kick pretty far. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, they absolutely can. Now, this question I've only started recently asking people. So, if you were to name three teammates, Lexi, you can be involved in this and you don't have to be involved in this. If three teammates were to form a rock band or a music band or some kind of band, who would be in that band and what would the band be called?
Oh, I think it would be. I don't think it would be me. Like I'm
Hmm.
pretty chill. I think it would definitely be
Yeah.
Cynthia. Just trying to think of sort of the people, if we're going to go from our old list, like before
Yeah.
any list changes, so from our season previously, I think
Hmm.
Bella would definitely be in it as well, Bella Smith,
Yep.
and maybe Alice Mitchell, the three of them, Cynthia, Bella, and Alice. They love to sing and dance and stuff. I don't know
Mm,
what their positions, what their instruments or anything would be.
yeah.
Um, I don't know what they'd be called.
Mm,
Maybe, oh, I don't know, crazy chipmunks or something. I feel like it would be something like cute but crazy, because
yeah.
they're all very like hyper energy and stuff, but they're also
Mm.
sort of a bit crazy. So yeah,
Some definitely some good options for sure. I'm going to
yeah.
ask this one again. Who loves the limelight, the attention, the camera at the Swans, and they can't get enough of it, and they know what to do?
Um, I'm just trying to think of girls who love like the social media and stuff as well. I think
Yeah.
Kiara, one of our new, well, she was a trade from last season, obviously from Brisbane.
Yep.
She loves like the social media, loves taking photos. So I feel like
Mm.
if anyone had anything to do with social media, she would 100% put her hand up first.
Yeah.
Um, Ali as well loves social media.
Hmm.
And then I don't know. I feel like all our girls are pretty open to doing social media content because we just want to sort of, build the game and stuff. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I feel like those two, perhaps the main one. I'm probably missing somebody like
Mm.
completely, but I feel like off the top of my head, just the two. Yeah.
For sure. Now I'm going to wrap it up, Lexi, with a quiz because I know you're a very busy person. Appreciate you coming on. So, I can't remember how you went last time, but how do you reckon you'll go this time? These are teammate questions and potentially about some new ones, depending on who they are. How do you reckon you'll go?
Oh, I feel like I have a good memory, but it's just whether I know the answers. So we'll see. We'll see.
Very
Maybe
true.
I'll get, if it's out of 10, like maybe 6 or something.
Yeah, well, this is out of 5 because I'm going to put a
Okay,
little
cool.
more detail. So you just happen to be the one where I've started to think of making the questions harder because I seem to make them too easy for some people. We start off easy and then it'll probably potentially go harder, get
Okay,
harder.
cool.
Right.
All right.
Question 1. This player may or may not be a new player that's just come in. They wore the jumper number 4 and they were from a Victorian club. There's the 2 hints for the first guess, and then you get another one for the last clue if you need it.
Darcy.
Yep, Darcy Maloney, perfect. 1 for 1. Good start. All right. This player, the 2 hints, you know them pretty well, and they've got a big kick on them.
Oh, it could be either Cynthia or Chloe.
Which one?
What's the third hint?
Well, the third hint, normally I only give that after the first guess, but the third hint is the giveaway. Their jumper number is 10.
Oh, yeah, Cynthia, yeah.
There you go. 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Giving it away there. Now we'll start to get a little bit harder here. All right. They've kicked 1 AFLW goal, and their jumper number is under the number 22. That's the first part.
One goal, only one goal.
And under
Was
their
this-
jumper number under 22,
Was this from our including girls who are no longer playing with the Swans?
It does include that, but that may or not be the answer for this one.
Okay.
They can include players that have been retired or let go.
Is it Holly?
No, it's not Holly Cooper at all. No. Right, the last clue for this player, which is also a giveaway, they're an All-Australian defender.
Oh, is it Brenna?
Yeah, BT, Brenna Tarrant, yes.
Oh, has she kicked a goal?
Oh, no, I didn't know that either. When I saw that. I know, I've had her on a few times and I've never recall ever mentioning that. So, yeah, she
When
has.
was that? Yeah.
I'd love to find that. I don't know if it was when she was at Melbourne or what's going on here, but
Yeah.
I'm going to have to Google that. But
I'll have to find that out. I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm going to, once we finish this, I'm going to find it and send it to you because I didn't know that either. But there you go. See what happens when you do some research, you find out things like this you didn't know. I wonder if you can remember it. But all right, so that's 3 for 3. You got 2 more. Let's see how you go now. They get a bit harder here. This will see how much online presence that you have looking at people's profiles here. Because the first clue is this player has under 6,000 Instagram followers. They are 22 years of age. That's the start.
Is it Laura?
Damn it. I thought it was going to be harder. Yes, it is Laura Gardner. Yes, that's 4 for 4. The last quiz question here. Now, this one I put even more harder clues than this one. Right. This player, Lexi, was the MVP for the National AFLW Academy side in their game against the under-23 All-Stars. And the other clue is they kicked 10 career goals so far.
What year was that with the Allies?
I don't have exactly, but yeah, I was going to say it's within the last 5 years. So they're under 23 years of age.
Okay. And this was when they were in the under 23s game, or
yes,
was it?
Yeah, they played against. So they played for the AFLW Academy side against the under 23 All Stars. Yes,
and they won MVP.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be somebody young because I feel like those games have only sort of just come around.
Yes.
In the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. I know who won it 1 year. Was it Montana?
Yes, there was. Well, which one? Because there's technically there's 2. Yes, Montana Ham. That's it. That's it perfectly. You see, nailed them all. 5 out of 5. See, there was no pressure needed. That was pretty good. I know, and I actually put a lot more harder clues into that. Just Lexi, one more. So, if you're going to have some goals for next year, Lexi, what is your goals for next season?
I think just like firstly, I want to show up to preseason, fit and healthy. Like have a really big off season. And then I think just in general, just enjoy footy and play as many games as I sort of can. No real solidified goals yet in terms of positioning. I'm just really keen to meet all the new girls and watch the draft and make them feel really welcome.
Yes.
I think, I think with a lot of our girls sort of departing, like leadership is something I sort of pride on.
Yeah.
So I think moving through those sort of waves would be really cool. And then, just playing some footy. Yeah.
For sure, Lexi, it's been a pleasure having you on. All the best for the
Thank you.
upcoming season. Enjoy your break. Enjoy everything else that you do between that, and hopefully the Swans are back up there again next year. And we're gonna have to search up BT's goal and see when it was and how it happened. Thanks for coming on, Lexi.
Beautiful. Thank you so much,
Thank
Kip.
you.
Thank you.
No worries.